I'm struggling this morning, Chris. Just give me a
Some
second.
may find the following disturbing. Discretion is advised.
Here we go, Barflies. Welcome to the Barfly Tailgate Show. You already know it's done by Barflies for Barflies and all the other Bears fans out there. Well, Chris, it's just you and I on this Happy New Year edition of the Barfly Tailgate Show. We'll do our best to go through some of the game last week, maybe talk a little bit about how our New Year was, how our Christmas was. Maybe some of these guys hung over for New Year's, and that's why they're not with us. I'm not sure. Haven't heard from KB. Jordan is out on the road, so he's not going to be able to make it. He just sent me a message. But how are you doing, Chris? How was your week, brother?
Yeah, not a bad week at all, really. Had an all right Christmas. Just a nice sort of quiet one with the family. I had plenty to eat and a few drinks. So yeah, it's been all right this week, mate. I'm pretty much hungover like a skunk this morning, but I'm still up for the show, mate. And it's always a joy, man, talking to you, AC. So happy New Year to you, mate, and happy New Year to everybody associated with the network and everybody in the chat.
Yeah, some people in the chat are saying we've got an echo going on. I don't know if it's because I can kind of hear it too. I think when I say it, it comes through delayed on your side, and then I hear myself say it again or something. I don't know. Matthew Fochisi says, no, I did upgrade my internet this week, and when I hopped on today, I noticed that we've had unstable connection. So if we drop out, I apologize, Barflies, but we're going to do our best to show rolling this week. So last week, the Chicago Bears took on the Buffalo Bills, and it started out pretty good. I mean, I think we were even up at halftime, which was a surprise for me. AC upgraded to AOL, they're saying in the chat. Yeah, I mean, nah, I have a Spectrum cable, and I bumped my internet up, and I don't know why that would my connection. So basically, and I'm popped out and out. God dang it. So we had a good first half. Go ahead.
No, I'm just going to say you started sounding better then. You keep clicking out a little bit on your end.
Yeah, I don't know what it's doing. My connection's showing that it's good down in the bottom, but up in the top on my screen, it's saying, it's popping up and down. I don't know what the deal is. Yeah, we had a good first half against the Bills, and then the second half, they just it's almost like we forgot how to tackle against the run. A lot of their run plays just started busting open. I just think it's a lack of talent. I mean, we've got guys on our D-line that are our practice squad players. I thought the secondary held their own, given that we didn't have Jalen Johnson. He's on IR. Kyler Gordon has started to step up a little bit for us. He's got 2 picks the last 2 weeks, so that's nice to see him continue to get better each week. Brisker's back. DH has held his own in that other safety position. But I just really think we need a lot of upgrades on that D line. What were your takeaways from the game last week? Did I pretty much cover it all there?
I mean, the impression I got was that we started off really well, like we usually do. On offense, we seem to start really well when we're on that sort of scripted play sheet, and then after that, for me, the offensive call playing's got far too conservative. I know that we were down, in the wide receiver group, but even so, you've got to open the game out a little bit. I mean, I thought the defensive backs played absolutely amazing. To say that we had 3 rookies starting in the defensive backfield, we held Diggs to 2 catches, and he's like an all-pro wide receiver. Josh Allen, I don't think he had his best game anyway, which was lucky for us. But I think, I was really surprised how all the defensive backs played, and they have done for the last couple of games. Regarding the run defense, I mean, it's been shocking all year, and especially with the injuries we've got now. I mean, Sam Burns gone for the season, so I wouldn't expect too much. But I was really surprised by the end of the first half. We were in the lead, and I think the second half, like you just sort of illustrated, AC, it was more down to their talent compared to our talent rather than schemes. But I still wasn't impressed with the offensive play calling. But I think really, with all the injuries and the inexperienced players playing, it all just added together, and I think that's why they pulled away near the end of the game. Buffalo Bills did.
Yeah, it was. I mean, and it was a good game. I'm ready to turn the page on to the next week, but I'll go ahead and hit this for you, and we'll talk about your wanker of the week real quick.
Piss off, you grassy little wanker!
Wanker! Shut up, you soppy wanker!
Wanker! You're a wanker! Wanker!
Stop being a wanker.
You are a wanker, Andy Marr. And I'll be honest, I didn't know that was coming, but I'll say it again, you are a wanker.
This is Chris Watts's Wanker of the Week.
If it's your first time watching the show, Chris Watts every week comes through and tells us his wanker of the week, the guy who dropped the ball, the coach who didn't do his job. Sometimes it'll be the refs that fucked us. But Chris Watts, who's your wanker of the week from the Chicago Bears and Buffalo Bills game from last week?
My wanker of the week is the offensive play caller, Getsy. Like I mentioned it before in the show, I just think his play calling gets so overly conservative that it's actually hindering Fields. Although we had a lot of players out on the wide receiver group and the offensive line were missing 2 players, in the internal part of the line, you still got to open up a little bit. You still got to give Fields the chance to use his skills and what he's good at. I mean, I think as well the Buffalo did contain him really well, and they didn't really let him run for any yards. I think he only got 19 yards all the game. But I just think Getsy. It's like we were chatting before the show, and maybe you're right, AC. Maybe he's sort of getting commands from the top saying, "Look, call this sort of play calling, so we're going to lose." I mean, I don't believe that personally. I don't like the word tanking as well. It's quite an alien concept to me. But I just think Luke Getsy, man. I mean, it's happened quite a few times this year. I know he's a rookie play caller, but when I can sit there and I'm just still, an idiot from England, and I can go, well, he's going to run it on this play. He's going to do a little bubble screen on this play. If I can recognise that, then the opposition coaches are going to recognise it so easily. But I just think he just gets too conservative. I don't know if he gets the yips or his balls shrink up because it was that cold that his balls shrunk up and made him just, I don't know, lose the idea that they can do. I mean, maybe he was conservative due to the weather because it was so cold. Maybe they're scared, that people are going to fumble the ball because, the ball's like a little brick when it's that cold. But way conservative to me, like Matthew Fortizzi just says there, it's way too conservative. You got to play with the players you got, but you got to give Fields a bit of a chance, man. because we were in that game right until I'd say about halfway through the third quarter. So I'd definitely say Luke gets it, and this is probably the third time he's been called the wanker of the week.
Yeah. It was pretty conservative. And credit to Buffalo's defense, because we've been able to, even though that's been the game plan each week, it seems like for defenses to shut down Fields, the Buffalo Bills are the first ones to actually get it done. I think he had 7 rushes for 11 yards or something like that. Like he just didn't have any space out there. I think they had two linebackers spying him at times, so he really didn't have a whole lot of space to do anything out there. And on top of that, I'm wondering if the weather had something to do with it, because even Josh Allen didn't look like Josh Allen out there, and he's used to playing in the cold. You know, he played at Wyoming in college, and he plays in Buffalo in the league. Sometimes just going up against the weather conditions on top of going against a great Buffalo Bills Super Bowl contender team. It's
that's right.
Just a little too much.
I mean, it's just you got to admit, the players don't quit the coaches. I'll give them that. And they're still flying around, but the lack of talent on this team, and also combined with the injuries as well, what we've had throughout the year, which every team has. All teams have injuries by the time you get into the last third of the season. But I always sit there. Is it so much down to the lack of talent, or is there an element down to the coaching? Because these are professional players, so I'm always sat there trying to balance it. Is it just a lack of talent, or is there like an element of our coaching which just don't work? Because end of the day, I know we're in a rebuild year, but we've lost, how many games have we lost in a row now? About 9 or 10? I don't know. I've lost count.
I've lost count, man. We haven't won since New England.
Patriots? Yeah, Patriots game. So is that, I know we're all looking forward to the off season and what that might entail with the draft and the free agency, but we've still got a coaching staff on the record book what's going to have one of the worst seasons ever as a Chicago Bears coaching staff. So it's sort of, I'm obviously going to give them like a bit of a pass for this season, just due to the preparations, what we're doing for the next 2 or 3 years. So it's just so sort of frustrating and demoralising, man. I mean, I've mentioned this, it's just becoming now one big grey loss. It feels like the whole season. Every week I'm like, oh, God. You know what I mean? But hopefully with the pain now, the pleasure will come next year, and the excitement and the success will come next year. So, it's like, you break your leg, you go through pain to get your leg right, and then hopefully after that, you're back to where you are. So I'm just sort of sitting here cross-fingered hoping that, we have a good off-season, because, I think our division as well next year is going to be really competitive with the Lions, how they've improved. Obviously with Minnesota, how they're playing at the moment. And you've always got the Packers who are always a pain in the arse, you know what I mean? I mean, that team gives my arse an headache. They really do. So it's all about future and prospects in the future, which is, it's hard to do after so many weeks of continually losing. I mean, how do you feel about the coaching, AC? Do you think it's just down to player talent, or is there an element of the coaching which is partly one of the reasons why we're losing so many games in a row?
It's definitely a part of it, but it's just, it's hard for me to give up on a coach in his first year. I think Eberflus has done okay. He's still got this team playing hard regardless of the record or anything else. That's a testament to your coaching staff, the way these guys are playing out there every week, regardless of the outcome. It's Gessy's first time calling plays. He's had some good games. He's had some bad games. We did see Velus Jones, a Velus Jones sighting. That was something somewhat important as you go into the offseason. And we'll get into it in the next game, but I think Claypool's back this week, which is
right.
I mean, that pick continues to climb as well with that second round pick that we traded for him. So you got to see something out of that guy. You know what I'm saying? So
Are you sorry, Asa, are you like a little bit sort of like that about the Claypool trade then now? Do you think
I'm a little salty about it, I'll be honest. Yeah, I am, because we haven't seen anything from the guy. Now, he'll have the whole off season to work with Fields and get into next season, and that's part of the reason why we traded him is the free agency class isn't that great. The draft class is okay. I mean, it's not like a Jamar Chase is kind of anything like that. In case he's the LSU wide receiver. He originally pulled himself out of the draft, said he was going back to school, and then he came back out this week and said, I'm coming back to the draft. That's a wide receiver I like that we possibly could have got with that top second round pick, but who knows, really. Just someone in here who was saying, we need to get that first pick, and I agree with that. If you can get the number 1 overall pick and you get someone to trade a boatload of picks to you for their possible quarterback of the future or something to that effect, that would be the best case scenario for our Chicago Bears, because there's so many holes on this team. We just need an abundance of picks, and we really need to hit the ground running on free agency as well. It's a good thing that we have the most money in the league to spend. Now, I think Claypool could be the best. If there was a free agent to grab, he could have been the best, but it's hard. What's like the 33rd overall pick right now? Just there, and we can't use it, and that's difficult.
When does free agency start? Is it after the draft or prior?
It's in March, and is usually the first week of April. I can Google it toward the end of April. So you try to fill holes with free agency, and then you can usually draft best player available if you fill your holes. And you have so many holes, I don't know if that'll be a good plan. I'm going to Google when does NFL free agency start real quick, so I'll get us an actual date.
Yeah, but I thought it was before the draft.
Yeah, it's March 16th. And then
right.
I think the draft is usually around
last
the end
week
of
in
April,
April.
so about a month later you'll have.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, what would you like to do, AC? Would you like? Sorry, AC. What would you like to do? Would you like to? For me, I'd rather go free agency, because I just feel like with draft, it's like I think we talked about this quite a few times. But for me, with the draft, it still seems to be a bigger gamble. I know why you build through a draft, because obviously the players are going to be cheaper wage-wise for on the rookie deals compared to if you're going to get a top-end free agent. But for me, just see if we can sort of get the positions that really need through free agency, and then we can sort of top that cake off then with like really quality generational talent through the draft. Does that make any sense, or is it just me being an idiot?
I think you have to hit on both. I mean, if you see a team, I'm trying to like look at the Bills who we just played. They hit free agency. They went and got Von Miller to put on one of their edge rushers, but they also hit in the draft with guys like and even trade. They went and drafted Josh Allen, who's became a great quarterback, possibly the best one in the league. You drafted Gabe Davis, who you put across from Stephon Diggs, who you trade for, and now you've got formidable pieces all over your roster. Years ago, they picked up Micah Hyde as a safety who used to play for the Packers, if you remember. He's injured this year, but he's one of my favorite safeties in the league. He can do it all, hit and pick you off. But you really got to start plugging those holes, and I think that might be a part of the reason why Ryan Poles was excited to take this job, because he realized he could get his fingerprints all over this team, not just through the draft, not just certain moves, but this is going to be it's going to be a big off season for the Bears. I think the bar room's going to be awfully busy this off season.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, he's sort of really sort of, he's really sort of stated his reputation as a GM, isn't he? Really over this upcoming off season, really, because we got rid of all the the players with the big wages like Roquan and Quinn, and which literally has set us up to be a losing team. But I mean, if it works, that's off to the guy. But it is quite a big gamble, isn't it? Really, it's sort of like stacking it all up and then just going for it. But I suppose that's how you got to approach it, really, because you got to keep up or beat your competition. With the players you bring in. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting in the off season, mate.
Yeah, with something Fochisi said here in the chat, he says Raiders get rid of Adams, go get him. In my opinion, I don't know if they'll just cut him because they gave him they traded a lot for him and kind of gave him a big deal. But the whole reason why Adams went to Las Vegas was to play with Derek Carr.
That's
and
right.
Now it's looking like Derek Carr is about to get benched and possibly be somewhere else next year. So.
Yeah, well, I mean,
that could be a possible trade target for our Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I mean, he did actually get bench carded, and I think he's on his way. But I mean, that'd be like it'd be a lot of money to get Adams, though, wouldn't it? Surely, because obviously we'd have to take on his contract, which is going to be huge anyway. But he is an absolute beast. But I mean, it'd be awesome if we did get it. Would you imagine him playing against Green Bay Packers and scoring like a couple of touchdowns and stuff like that? That would be like awesome. Would it be so fucking good, man? That. So if they can do it, that's what I mean. I want us now to plug the holes up with decent players, and then I want us to get like a sprinkle of generational talent, because that's the only way you're going to win a Super Bowl is having that generational talent players, especially in the skill positions like Adams. So, it's going to be awesome this off-season, mate. I mean, that'd be awesome, though, wouldn't it? I just keep getting Adams like in a Bears uniform, scoring at Lambeau Field, and that'd be fucking awesome, mate.
Yeah. I wonder if he'd try the Lambeau Leap with a Bears jersey on. That'd be fun.
Yeah, see if they'll let him.
And T. Higgins. Bengals. I'm sorry. I cut out again. But T. Higgins is a wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. I think they're dealing with some possible or salary cap implications between Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow and having to pay those guys. So T could be a guy that becomes a cap casualty. But the reason I'm more excited about Adams than I would be T. Higgins is I feel like Adams has been in that position to be the top wide receiver in the league. He has a history in playing in the cold. We already know how. I mean, I guess Cincinnati gets kind of cold, but it's different in Chicago, and he's already played in that. And plus, the Raiders have a top 10 pick. So if you can swap picks and pick up Devontae Adams, that'd be fantastic. And as many people have said in the chat, especially Don Burr today, talking about Jalen Carter last night didn't have a good showing. I didn't get to see Will Anderson play live because they were on at the same time as Kentucky played. But he's saying that he didn't look so good either. So those guys' draft stock might drop a little bit. Now this kind of always happens where the draft stock will go up and down through the year when they work out at the combine. Either someone will jump up that you had no idea even existed, or their draft stock will pop right back up and you take a chance on their traits.
I mean, the thing as well is if you're scouting, you're going to look at their overall season production anyway, aren't you? Even if they have a bad playoff game, like you just mentioned, AC, you're going to look at how they played throughout the year, because that the opposition they played might have just had a really good scheme against him, or we all have off days, don't we? So I mean, obviously they'll look at the bigger picture, but it's just going to be exciting, isn't it? And, this spring's going to be exciting. I just want the Bears to get some big name. Big name like Adams, some big names. What scares the opposition players? You know what I mean? I want Bears to get players like when like when Walter Payton played. As soon as he walked out the pitch, all the opposition will be thinking, "Shit me, how the hell are we going to stop this guy? It's Walter Payton." Do you know what I mean? That's what I want. I know we've got it with Fields, but I want more. I want more. AC.
I mean, you have to have more. You can't walk out there with one guy. This isn't the NBA where you trade for a LeBron James and you're a championship contender. It's a team sport. You got to have guys all over the field that play really well, and we're definitely on the cusp of that. The only bright spot in this season is Fields. But that's saving us. That gives us a lot of what's
continuity?
The word on choices in the draft.
Yeah.
You don't have to draft a quarterback. You know what I mean? You can draft a defensive tackle. You can draft a defensive end. You can draft a wide receiver if you feel that way. TCU's wide receiver, Quentin Johnson, had a hell of a game against Michigan yesterday, and he'll have another to show against Georgia in the champ game. So that'll be a name that's popping up. A lot of people are still saying priority number one should be 3 technique. I'm starting to really like the idea of Deron Payne coming and being on our defensive line. He does a lot for Washington. And I feel like he'd be a good fit here. He's still young. I think he's like 26, 27, something like that. So you're not paying for an older player that you hope has a good, 5 years left on his life. You're paying for a guy who probably has 8 to 9 years left, at least at a high level. More time on the ground than rushing the quarterback. I feel like a lot of people are out on Carter after his showing last night. But I don't know. He's still a big dude, man. He's still. I mean, if you bring him in on top of some free agency moves, maybe you got a chance. Maybe it's different in the league. I mean, these guys in college, they've got to go to school, they've got to do classes, they've got to worry about, and they're all young. You know what I mean? When you come to the league, it's your job. It's your job to be good. It's your job to study the film. It's your job to hit the weight room as hard as possible and become great. I mean, if they go with Carter, we'll have to see how he takes to the NFL level. And I feel like if there's a college, I feel like Georgia's becoming the new Alabama, where
I do
prepare the league while they're in college, and that'll be something to watch for. But we'll start getting into this game today. My sister-in-law right now to watch the game, so hopefully they're nice to her. But she's her boyfriend's family is from Michigan, so unfortunately she's wearing a Detroit jersey. I told her I had plenty of jerseys for her. But she's wearing Detroit today. We'll see how they go. But I got to put Don Burr up here right here on the screen. Along with everything. Detroit versus everybody, of course. Says, I hope y'all take Will Anderson or Jalen Carter. They both look average, a bunch of hype. So that's definitely something to watch for. I mean, and we'll see how the game goes. But before we really get into this, my guy just showed up backstage, so I got to bring him in. My brother K Bizzle, Mr. KB. What's good, brother? What's up?
Hey,
Overslept
What's going
a little
on,
bit. Your
people?
party last night?
Yeah, I party going on calls. Yeah. Definitely was stuck at work yesterday. It sucked ass.
I bet it did.
Didn't get to do nothing. I didn't get to drink, did nothing at all. But yeah.
Anyway, Happy New Year to you, KB. I was expecting you to have that green, weird, Incredible Hulk drink going down if you hadn't been at work. But Happy New Year to you, bro. And
Happy New Year's, brother.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, bro. So I'm glad everybody had fun. Everybody got safe. I'm glad to see you both in one piece. Nobody did anything crazy, hopefully, or didn't get caught for it yet.
Yeah,
that's the one. That's the one, baby.
So what we got going on, man? I see Don Bird talking shit like usual.
Yeah, I mean, it's Lions week. I expected to see him in here. Mallory had to work this week, so I didn't do any partying last night either. Tried my best. I really was just watching the game. I even missed the ball dropping this year. I usually watch it, but Ohio State was about to kick a game-winning field goal, and that thing was ugly.
Woo!
Right as the ball dropped, I thought Georgia got a hand. He just hooked the hell out of it, and that's a kicker I've been consistently grabbing in mock drafts. So I don't know. Maybe he drops off my board, and he's.
I was gonna say the Michigan kicker. That guy Moody, he definitely deserves a look. 50-yard field goal. I was like, all right, go ahead, Moody. You're showing me something. You're showing me something. I didn't know he was one of the top kickers in the league. I mean, the nation. That Ohio State game though, we walked in, and I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm like, oh my god! I said they're about to be in the freaking national championship. I'm not finna hear the end of this, especially being a Michigan fan. It's y'all beat us, so we won. Y'all won the battle, we won the war type shit. I'm like, oh my god, This is gonna be a bunch of folks on my timeline talking shit. And as soon as I seen him leave his foot, I said, bro, that has no shot. It's not even fucking close. Just goes straight to the left. I said, oh, somebody was playing Madden and had the sticks pushed all the way over to the side on accident. I was like, oh yes. I said we lost.
Yeah.
But as long as Ohio State didn't make it, I'm fine.
well, I gotta say though, unfortunately, he's not draft eligible this year. But Marvin Harrison Jr. looks like an absolute stud.
Yes.
While he was in the game, he was tearing up Georgia's defense, but he got knocked the F out. And then after that, that's when Georgia kind of started mounting their comeback. I don't know if the two are exactly connected because Georgia's offense just kind of woke up, but it's definitely something to think about. And that's so good. And he was doing that against a potential top 10 draft pick in Kelly Ringo. Kelly Ringo was getting burned out there by Marvin Harrison Jr. That was something I was definitely keeping an eye on because, I mean, we need people all over the place. And if we trade back, who knows who's going to be there and who's not. Trying to keep an eye on Ringo. And he didn't look great,
I was having this conversation with my friend at work. He used to play for NIU back in the day. It's funny, I always give him shit because he was a star player on their team. So I poke fun at him like, you look at you, kind of, you know what I'm saying, Mr. 96 speed. He was one of the faster people in the NCAA games. But he played OSU the year he was at NIU, and he just got into telling me things. Just like, bro, he said, I stepping up to that type of competition. He's like, oh, bro, he said, I got hit on a kick return. He said, all I heard was, he said, after the dude hit him, he said, all I heard was, oh, we coming for you, little ass boy. Oh, he said he kept hearing it. And I guess he got concussion on that play. And he was just like, yeah, he said, bro, that type of competition, he said, such a huge step up. And then we get to talking about Marvin Harrison. And I said, bro, if he came out in this draft, he's probably a top 3 in this draft right now. That's how good that kid is, because he hasn't really been paying attention this year.
Yeah, I think he'd be the top wide receiver off the board, or some people might still like Johnson over him, but I don't know. I think he's been
Oh,
doing it all year, and I don't know if it's from Chris's thing.
I was gonna say,
Um, maybe it was UK. I don't know.
What the fuck happened then? It was like we all went into like some sort of Matrix freeze. Everybody was there going.
I don't know. I see your lips moving, but I can't hear you talk, KB.
oh, yeah. I keep hearing this like echo in my ear, and I'm like, yo, where's this coming from? So I'm like, is it me? So I'm starting to hit a bunch of buttons and crap to try to check it and find out what it is. Oh my god! It's up. So yeah, I can see your mouth moving. I said,
Is there anything we already touched on the Buffalo Bills game? We kind of went over it real quick. Let Chris hit his wanker of the week, and then we kind of moved on. Is there anything that you wanted to touch on that game before we move on to the Lions game today?
My biggest takeaway from the game is kind of some of the things that were said afterwards. You hear the Josh Allen press conference. I don't remember if that was before or after the game, but they get to talking about Fields, and you hear Josh Allen, which I say he's a class act on his comments, when he's just like, no, man, he's not out here trying to be a me. When the guy asked him, the reporter, he's just like, does he remind you of you? It's like, no, he reminds me of him. Like, he wants to be him. He doesn't want to be anybody else. And he was just like, he's a good player. Right now, what he's doing is he's using what the best ability he has to try to win games. So you hear a lot of folks compare saying, he doesn't have the throwing numbers. Well, right now it's probably in his best interest to use his legs more because he needs to. This is the only way he can save himself from being hurt. So I thought Josh Allen was a class act on that. Before that, you know what I'm saying, I didn't really know to make heads or tails of the guy, so it was nice seeing his comments. You hear Von Miller talking about what he was talking about before the game, saying that Fields has the potential to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I can't remember if his comments were be one of the best quarterbacks Chicago's ever had, or if that was another one I listened to. But you have Von Miller, who a perennial All-Pro. You know what I'm saying? He was one of the top 5 at his position while he plays. To hear him say, and he's hurt, so he's not even playing, say that Fields can be one of the best quarterbacks in the league because his talent is there. It says that he can be that type of player. Was kind of, you know what I'm saying, just kind of a validation moment. You hear all these fans, oh, he can't pass, he's a running back, blah, blah, blah. That's not what the rest of the league thinks of him. The rest of the league knows what's coming. The rest of the league knows this dude's something serious, and he just needs the help around him, which has been echoed through a lot of analysts and a lot of players. So, yeah, that's all I had about the game, man. He made the game watchable. That's just where I'm at right now with any of the games. If we didn't have Justin Fields, I don't know if I would really watch a game.
And it comes down to, like I was telling Chris, it helps us out in the draft to know that we don't have to go quarterback. We feel like we're the guy, and we're hearing it from not only our fans, but other people's fans and other players from other teams who see him on film doing things that we've never seen a Chicago Bears quarterback do. Incredible. And myself as a fanboy, me, baby, I loved Justin when he was coming out. He was my second favorite quarterback in the draft, and we're seeing it play out live on TV. Trevor Lawrence starting to play really well under Doug Peterson's got him going in the right direction. But then Zach Wilson, who went right after him, looking like a bust. He's more concerned with MILFs off the field than he is on the field. You got Trey Lance, who can't stay healthy, and when he is healthy, It's crazy to me when I watch Trey Lance. It seems like they could put me into that offense and I can run it. But when they put Trey Lance back there, when they put Trey back there, it just doesn't look like it's going right.
Can I just ask KB one question about the Bills game? KB, what did you think about the offensive coordinator, about his play calling? Especially, it seems to deteriorate, especially in the second half of games. I'll just be interested to see what you say, mate.
I'm not gonna be one to sit here and go for what are they conspiracy theories. I couldn't speak. But the tank is on, and I think the play calling is evident in that. I just refuse to believe that Luke Getsy is that inept at play calling that you see that this man is getting the ball down the field, throwing it, and then as soon as you get in the red zone, and more particular inside the 10, you start saying, "Yeah, let's run the ball 3 straight fucking times." So I'm at the point I'm at. Like I said, I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all, but it's kind of showing on the field that they're not necessarily trying to win games. Yeah, you can't convince me otherwise right now, because if you are, then what you're telling me is that Luke Getsy should be replaced next year, and I don't want to be the one to come out and say that that's the possibility, because I really think that Luke Getsy is helping Fields. I think that his knowledge that he's bringing, that he's garnered from, you know what I'm saying, coaching Aaron Rodgers for years, and then his stint when he was a coach in college, and then coming back and so on and so forth. I just don't believe that man is sitting there saying, "Yeah, we should run the ball like this," when he's showing me he can clearly make plays. So I'm starting to go down that same path, man. I believe the tank is on. They have a shot legitly at getting the number 1 pick. To me, the Texans can beat the Colts. The Colts are in shambles.
Yeah.
In shambles. They can absolutely beat them, and then we slide into the number 1 pick on accident. So, yeah, man, that's what I think about it. Like I said, I really think that they're embracing the tank right now, man.
Yeah, a lot of people in the chat definitely agree with you, KB, and I think I agree with you as well. The conservative play calling has kind of rendered that of being a possibility that's what's going on. It does. I'll ask you about this. I asked Chris about it. If we end up with, then that round pick that we traded for Chase Claypool is the 32nd overall. Remember, the Dolphins don't have a first round pick. Do you feel like we jumped the gun on that? Are you having buyer's remorse on Claypool? Do you think it definitely just wait, or what?
So this is it definitely seems like it was kind of a huge reach. You know what I'm saying? Because you look at it and it's just like, damn, we expected him to be at least on the field maybe 30-40% of the fucking time, and the man has barely played. But I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying, bite my tongue and wait, because I'm you know what I'm saying, I'm wise enough to realize that move wasn't a move for this year. You know what I'm saying? That was a move made with the future in mind. And if somehow, some way, the Bears do end up with the first round pick, I mean, having that extra pick is damn near having the first round pick. You know what I'm saying? So you get that first, and then you trade back and you get a haul. To me, it's not going to hurt as much, because you got a wide receiver in place, and then you can possibly take another wide receiver within those picks that you're going to get, because I guarantee you it's going to be, 2 or 3 first rounders that you can pick up, especially with the performances that Bryce Young and CJ Stroud put on yesterday. So you get that haul for a team like the fucking Panthers, who need a quarterback. That team that I'm talking about in the damn Indianapolis Colts, who don't have a fucking plan at quarterback. They offer these packages to us. Yeah, this is what we want. This is what we're going to give you. Go get your wide receiver at that point. You know, because shit, you move back to the 9th. Who knows? Maybe Quentin Johnson is there. Then you take Quentin Johnson at the 9th. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever the pick that the Carolina Panthers got. Take Quentin Johnson. Yeah, hell, we might get a first round pick next year for one of these teams, and then they fuck around and not be good. And then we're sitting somewhere in the top 5 with another first round pick, and then Marvin Harrison Jr. is right there. Now we're sitting here talking about an embarrassment of fucking riches. So I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and steal my tongue and bite it for right now, because we don't know. Claypool could get that offseason in that he spoke on, and then come back and just be a damn baller. And then it's like, yeah, bro, you saying something about a wide receiver? Hell, we got Claypool, such and such receiver we just picked up in the draft, and Darnell Mooney. We don't even need a Marvin Harrison Jr., but I don't know who the hell would say that. But you know what I'm saying? It goes like that. So I'm a hold off. I'm gonna wait till this offseason rolls around, and let Claypool get adjusted into this offense, and hopefully let Luke Gesty start actually calling plays. So.
Because there were a part. So just last quick thing about Claypool. It's just there's like a little bit of me though, just thinking that we might have got him just to appease the fans, because it would just that it would just after we got rid of Quinn and Roquan. So they were like a bit of me going, well, we'll get rid of all these so-called best players. So a little bit of me thinks, well, did he just bring him in just to like appease the fans, because we're seeing all this talent walk out the door? But I can see where you come from, KB, and that's generally how I think of the situation. So sorry, AC, for cutting you off, mate.
Oh, you say you good?
No, it's all good, man. If Poles is going about his business trying to appease the fan base, he's going to be in trouble. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
But he did, like, he came out and even said it. I looked at the free agents market, and I felt like Claypool was better than anyone we could pick up in free agency. We had to bid high because the Packers as well. I mean, if that's a guy you want, you gotta go after him and get him.
Poles was truly
playing today, so he. It's two. Go ahead.
Oh man, I don't know if it's my internet or what. I'm like really slow, but I was just gonna say, man,
dude, it keeps popping up here telling me it's slow, even though I just upgraded my internet this week. I don't know what the fuck is going on today.
That's all bad. But I'm on the band with AC, man. Poles was really in a lose-lose situation in that position. It's if you don't trade for a wide receiver at that point, you look at the idea of a few things. One, us having to really search in the offseason to see if, somebody would be available. And at that point, you might be looking at some of the older stars like a Devontae Adams or DeAndre Hopkins, which at this point, we still don't even know if they're available, no matter how bad the situations are. And then you had the opportunity to go get a young 24-year-old wide receiver who's had some production in the league, and that was going to be one of your major moves. We know that the offseason, the wide receiver market is trash. We know that if he didn't bid that second round pick from us, that Claypool will more than likely be in Green Bay. And he wouldn't have heard the end of that from social media, from the fans, from the league. Nobody. You wouldn't have heard the end of that shit at all. So it was either he was damned if he didn't, damned if he did. And right now we have to just live with the point that he did, and we have to be hopeful that Claypool turns out. So I don't feel like it was more just to appease. I do feel it was more of a move to say, yeah, we don't really care for this offseason's wide receiver crop, so we might as well make the move now. So that's how I truly feel about it. Like I said, it's a bad place to be in, man. You don't have a lot of talent. Somebody as talented as Claypool's on the board. The Pittsburgh Steelers had all the leverage. Green Bay's offering their second round pick, G. We need y'all if y'all want this to go through.
Yeah.
So Man, my throat is killing me right now. Good God. I was like, bro, it's hard to swallow.
Wow. Why? What you been up to, KB?
Man.
What you been sucking on?
Oh. I can say it. Oh my God. Not doing this with y'all. It's too early.
But King T's got we'll get into this Detroit. King T's got an interesting point here. You know, Detroit went on the road last week, and Carolina ran the ball through, around, however the fuck they wanted to on this Detroit defense. So it looks like Claypool's going to play, but I don't know if he'll even be a factor. I feel like we're just going to.
Bro, at one point, I seen that fucking Chuba Hubbard and goddamn Deontay Foreman had over 100 yards rushing. And I had to double take at the screen. It's like, Chuba Hubbard, I understand. I was the Chuba Hubbard fan.
Sam Darnold was running on this team.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I was like, bro, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? I was a Chuba Hubbard fan. Like I say, I'm just gonna come out and say that shit flat out, bro. I love Chuba Hubbard coming out of OSU, bro. I was like, if somehow, some way, we were able to pick this dude up later on in the draft, bro, you had him and Demo, you could have told me shit. But then you sit there and you see Deontay Foreman. I said, he still plays. I thought the man was washed. I thought it was a done deal. This man is out here chopping up Detroit. Detroit is playing for a fucking playoff spot. So, but we knew that Detroit was sus the entire time. We knew that their defense wasn't good. My man Berg can talk all the shit he wants to. I guarantee you, if Jalen Carter is on the fucking board, they're rushing to the podium. Rushing. This not even gonna be the ticker. It's just gonna say the pick is in. So he can talk as much shit as he wants, saying, "Oh, y'all can get Will Anderson or Jalen Carter. They didn't look special." In essence, Jalen Carter didn't look good last night. Georgia's defense got cut the fuck up, but guess what? They made enough plays. That defense needs a lot of help just as much as the Bears defense does. So, hey man, you can't point and saw and throw stones at glass houses when your house is made of glass too. So,
yeah.
Just a quick one about
just run the ball. Boy might have started Justin Fields in his fantasy football championship this week, so I'm hoping he runs in 2 touchdowns.
But a quick one about Don Burr.
Go ahead, Chris. You were going to say something?
Yes, sorry, I see. A quick one about Don Burr. They had a guy on, the Buffon 55 show, and they had a guy who's obviously he does like a Detroit podcast. Never heard of Don Burr. Never heard of him. So he's either just goes on Chicago Bears shows and gives loads of shit to us, and he didn't actually go on to Detroit home podcast, which is so fucking weird, mate.
At the point I'm at, I really believe that it's more of a NFC thing. He doesn't talk shit on anybody or even appear in Detroit pages, because I got friends that get on the Detroit what's the little podcast that what's my guy's name? It's like Let's Talk Chicago. I don't know. It's like some giant sports network, and they have a bunch of fucking writers. I can't remember.
Yeah.
The jackass Bukowski is on it for the Packers. Those are the folks I'm talking about. And he's like, bro, he said, I'm on these Detroit pages, bro. I don't see this motherfucker. I didn't even know he was a real person. I said, yeah, bro. He's a real person, bro. I said I thought it was funny because I told people he was black. And people were just like, oh, what? No, man, Don Bird, blah, blah, blah. No, that's a black guy. almost said something else, but yeah, he's certified. He's certified mixed with black and blacker. That's a. Oh my god!
I'm so only out of in us three here, KB, in us three on the screen now, there's only you who could say that and get away with it.
You know what I'm saying? I try to keep it down to a tone when I'm on here, man. I don't want folks to be like, "Oh my god, he just throws that out everywhere." It's like Dave Chappelle. So.
But I just find that really comical. That I just find that really amusing. That this guy who runs this podcast for the show has never heard of the guy, but I've actually seen Don Byrne on a video, and he actually comes over as a nice guy. That's the worst thing about it. He comes over as like just like one of us, really. But yeah, just very amusing.
My boy AC.
Yeah, I don't have any issues with Don. Actually, I mean, I feel sorry for him because, the Lions have been so bad for so long, and he's had to sit through that. As a Kentucky fan,
Yeah.
I know what that's like.
Oh man, brother, I wanted to call you yesterday. I just wanted to give you a hug, and then Michigan lost, and I was just like,
Fuck it.
This is exactly the feeling that he's going through. I said, bro, we had no business being in that game.
It was our situation. Our situation was different though, because like I talked to Chris before the show about it. He saw some of the contempt. Look, we had a true freshman starting at quarterback that we was just trying to get reps. Chris Rodriguez wasn't playing. Still had their whole defense out there, and they have a damn good defense. Even if they can't get shit done on offense. Like, they basically beat us with their defense, and then their tight end made a couple of big plays. That was the game,
I get you. I was going to say, I sat there and watched a team that didn't really turn the ball over all goddamn year. Just so happened to fucking explode or implode. And I was just like, bro, interception after interception, fumbling on the one, had the bullshit call that should have been a touchdown. Then the clear, blatant targeting. Man. I was just like, yeah, bro. See, this is what being a Bears fan is like. So I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and turn. I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm not gonna watch the Ohio State game. And then I come out and I see Ohio State was destroying Georgia. And I'm just like, yeah, that's about par for the course. That's my football life in a nutshell.
Yeah, I was a bit like that.
Oh my god!
Well, C.J. Stroud did his best Justin Fields impression at the end of the game. Got him into field goal position, and then for some reason, they called 2 pass plays after that. He damn near took a sack back at the 50. And
he could have had a pick on that breakup by Keely Ringo. His Ringo came through and he knocked the ball and it bounced up or however the ball had went, and I was just like, bro, that could have been picked. That would have been game. And you could see Keely Ringo. It was just in his face, like, bro.
Yeah.
What? I don't think
Ringo's made those picks in the past too this season.
Yeah, he had, bro. He was getting destroyed, bro. I have not seen one man single-handedly just dick an entire team like Marvin Harrison did, bro. The Lord have mercy. If they didn't have that man Ohio State when they did shit. Good God, man. That kid is special.
Yeah. He is special. He does it all. He's got good route running, great hands, good speed. He does everything for you.
Mm-hmm. He definitely does. So
we should probably get into this a little bit.
Oh God, do we have to? I'm dreading this shit.
Go ahead, KB.
I'm just dreading this game, bro. It's not even that. I'm just like, oh my God, I'm worried about us getting beat. At the point I'm at, it is what it is, dude. It's like, bro, you see the special plays happen, and then you just get that little teaser. It's like that girl that you really got a big crush on, and she comes into the room, and you just sitting there, you having a drink. you're minding your business, and you notice she kind of gives you that look like from across the way. You like, yeah, and then she kind of push the titties up a little bit. You're getting me a little excited. You're starting to feel yourself. So you walk over, you get close to her. She takes a sip, puts the drink down, and just walks off and says, "Fuck you." That's how I feel when I watch the Bears play, because it's special play. It's special play. Special play.
KB, have you been secretly watching my private life? Because that sounds like my Saturday night every fucking week.
Well, that's my life, okay? It's Jesus. This is like, bro, you get the tease because you see how special certain players are, man, and you just want to see more of it. And you're just thinking in your head, why aren't we throwing the ball down the field more? Why aren't we seeing the play action deep shots that seem to work whenever this man does it? So it's just like, yeah, we give you some and then we take it back. Give you some, then we take it back. It just hurts to watch sometimes, even though, like I said, at the point it is, it's like what it is, bro. You know what this season is at this point, and you just hope that Fields gets out of it.
Yeah, that's a big thing. I mean, go ahead, Chris.
Oh, sorry, AC. I keep forgetting you got like a bit of a delay on your end. At last, it's your end what seems to be fucked up and not mine. It's been my internet what's been a bit shit this year, but But I mean, I reckon we can run on Detroit, like we mentioned earlier in the show. I mean, I think we'll run on them really well. I just think we'll start off really well, like we have been doing on offense, and then the play call will get ultra conservative, and then we'll just lack that bit of talent to get over the hump to actually win the game because of the injuries and who we've got in the squad. So I think I don't know, man. I mean, I want us to win because I just think it'd be good for Fields just to get. I know about the draft and and all that, but I just think it'd be really good for fucking Fields to get a win because of what he's gone through this year, and I just think it'd be good to good win just to carry over into next season, really. But I think we're just going to be a bit short on talent with the injuries and who we've got at the moment to actually win the game.
Yeah, man. What about you, AC?
Yeah, that's the thing with me is the injuries piling up. I feel like, and I was always against it, but now I'm kind of on board. We need to just let Fields sit because I am so worried he's going to get an injury in one of these last two games that don't mean anything, or even as we talked earlier about the quarterbacks. Remember, the Jets were in position to have that top pick. They could have had Trevor Lawrence, and then they won a meaningless game at the end of the season and dropped down to number 2 and end up with Zach Wilson, and the rest is history. And we're so hurt all over O-line, wide receivers, you know what I'm saying? Defense is starting to add up, with Sanborn and Eddie Jackson out and Jalen Johnson out and all this. What's going to hurt if y'all say, yeah, Justin's shoulders acting up is not looking right. We're going to sit him for the rest of the season. I don't think it would hurt. But
I say it can't.
I'm going to bring in my guy. He's sitting backstage. He's going to come in and talk about our prop bets and try to make us some money. My man Johnny Santucci, the Tooch. What's good?
He came in and he stepped out.
Oh, he popped out.
He came in, had a look, and went, "Fuck it, I'm out."
I don't know what happened.
Hey, he said, "I put my left foot in, I put my left foot out, I put my left foot in, and I shake it all about." The Tooch. There you go.
Yeah.
Boom. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, brother.
Is he here?
How are you? Did someone say sit
Fields?
Someone say sit
That
Fields?
man did. That man did.
I've been lobbying for this for a while. I talked about it on Bury Your Souls, and I think we talked about it here maybe a couple weeks ago. Sorry I missed last show, by the way. I forgot it was Saturday. I was like,
oh, bro, you all good?
I meant to be there. I just totally forgot.
Our game was Saturday, so we had to switch.
Yeah, we switched it up, and I'm like, oh shit, I missed Tailgate show. God damn it! I hope AC doesn't kill me. Especially after my Hawkeyes got the win yesterday, AC. But it was what fourth stringers on fourth stringers yesterday. So, I've been lobbying for sitting fields because I had an argument with Nomad on Bury Your Souls about if the Bears have the number 1 pick, they control the entire draft.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, oh, it doesn't matter 1 or 2. I'm like, it matters. 2. We don't have as much control over the draft. And I'll tell you right now, if you watch college football bowl games yesterday, if the Bears had the number 1 pick, they would be in prime position because Stroud and Young had killer days yesterday. I don't know if you catch some of the ball games yesterday. I mean, there'll be teams going, oh man, look at Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, both looking good. And then you got Will Levis as well. So I mean, the Bears could command a hefty price for that number 1 overall pick. And I kind of think that the Texans have a good chance of winning today. We just need Lovey and his team to pull together. So with the number, I know people want Jalen Carter, but I mean, you trade down, you get a guy like Brian Brzee. He's probably just as good. It doesn't matter. But the Bears have some needs, and what we need is a 3 technique to make this offense go. If the Bears were to make a shopping list of things that they need, you got to get Justin Fields some help at wide receiver. We got to address offensive line. We have to get a 3 technique to make Eberflus defense go and address the edge rusher problem. So, I mean, we got a lot of issues, AC.
Yeah.
Nomad's in the chat room. Thanks, Nomad. He's giving me a little bit of credit. It's hard to get credit with Nomad sometimes. Nomad makes some freaking awesome points all the time, man.
He does.
Once a show, Nomad says something, and that makes me go, "Oh man, why didn't I think of that? That's brilliant." But yeah, if you catch it at the show last time, I was Nomad said
I was able to catch your.
Saw you in the chat. Nomad said every NFL team is looking for the next Justin Fields. Boom. That is 100% true. 100% true. Facts.
And the crazy thing to me is I do believe that CJ Stroud can be a Justin Fields light. I'm not going to say he can be Justin Fields. I'm saying light. Just seeing how he handled himself in that game yesterday, I didn't realize he had that much scrambling ability. That play to put his team on the other side of the 50, bro, that run. I was just like, that's Fields. That's a field move. I've seen that all year.
They put up some numbers. After Marvin Harrison left the game, the defense didn't go. Marvin Harrison Jr., sorry, who would look great in a Bears uniform, man?
My God.
If Poles is listening, man, give me a Marvin Harrison Jr.
Man, you get a first-round pick next year, that's high.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, to put up those kind of numbers against arguably the number 1 defense in college football and the Georgia Bulldogs, I mean, AC can tell you how tough the Georgia defense is. Kentucky plays them every year. So, put up those kind of numbers. And Bryce Young, man, put up Kansas State pretty good defense too. Yeah, Kansas State a pretty good defense also. But today we got the Lions, brothers. We got and I saw Don Burr in the chat room. I got the Lions have issues too. First of all, they're the worst defense in the NFL. They may have a decent pass rush, but giving up 410 yards per game on defense, not going to cut it if you're a playoff team, Don.
Exactly. When you have washed up players like Donta Foreman rushing for over 100 yards on you, I don't think you have the liberty to talk shit about anybody. Last I checked, the Carolina Panthers don't even have a real quarterback.
Yeah. I kind of like the Panthers today against the Bucs. I mean, I hate to go against Tom Brady, but the Panthers just I don't know. I can't figure that team, man. 3.5 points seems like if they keep it within a field goal, you look at it. But I'm not betting against Tom Brady.
I was gonna say, didn't the Panthers dog walk them earlier in the year?
I think first game of the season, Tampa Bay won 20-3.
Okay, I just remember them after the trade of my boy, the running back.
McCaffrey.
Damn, yeah, whoever they played, I remember they went off on their ass, bro. It was, I was like, bro, what?
Don better be chirping at you, KB.
I know, man. We don't worry about chirpers, bro. Talking about when you ain't win since week 4, relax. Oh,
Don's bark worse than his bites.
Right. He's talking about a team that's dead in the water. Y'all don't know what y'all need, bro. Y'all not gonna be in the position to get shit. I'm sorry. That's my bad. I thought somebody said something about Jared Goff being an actually good quarterback. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, the Bears are really the only team in our division that have a good young quarterback. You know, Aaron Rodgers arguably past the back nine.
Oh, yeah.
And then, Jared Goff, he's 30 now. I know he's not that old. I think what was he, the 2016 draft? So, I mean, he's got some, he's a heady veteran. I mean, he doesn't have arm strength but can read a defense, fairly well. And then Kirk Cousins, he's getting up there in years too. I think he's almost mid-30s now. So arguably there's a ton of, and teams are always looking for quarterbacks, KB, every year. So, I mean, if the Bears were to get that number 1 overall pick, man, we could really do some damage in this draft.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I was circling that Colts game because I said the Colts game was just the Colts are in shambles, bro. So I definitely circled that game. And I know AC said something about circling that game too.
Yeah, today the Colts are traveling to the Meadowlands to play the Giants.
I think the Texans can win that and give us the first pick.
I think the Texans. I mean, look, Trevor Lawrence has played awfully well.
Sorry, fellas.
Let's not deny it. But this game doesn't matter for the Jaguars today, and Trevor Lawrence has got a toe injury, so he might not even play a full game. But the Texans are good at home.
Yeah. Okay, what we got? What we got? Was you finna get into some picks there, good sir? Throw some money bets there, good guy.
Oh my gosh, yeah, love got some good picks for today, man. If you want to prop play, Latavius Murray over 41.5 rushing yards versus the Chiefs today. Chiefs defense playing a lot better, but I mean, 40 rushing yards for Murray. What that's like 8 carries. So
yeah,
he's been getting a good amount of carries. So like that play. The under in the Steelers and Ravens game is intriguing at 35. But 2 defensive teams with terrible quarterbacks, like that play. And then also like the under in the Jets and Seahawks. The Seahawks really struggling on the offensive line. Injuries everywhere. They're playing a journeyman center who can't block anybody against that Jets defensive line. Like the Jets -1.5 today too. They've got Mike White back at quarterback.
Oh, King White.
Yep. Like that play. And a decent offense, decent running back, some okay receivers. And the Jets, should be able to. I hate taking a road favorite going into Seattle, but Seattle has had a good run with Geno Smith, but the last few weeks with that offensive line, they can't get anything going. They almost lost. They lost by 3 touchdowns to the Chiefs. And then I like the over in the Packers and Vikings game today. I think that's pretty easy money.
Okay.
47.5. I think both those teams can put up points.
Oh yeah,
today.
It's funny, bro, because you seen how the league and how Vegas and everybody have come back down to earth on the Vikings. It's like, bro, the Vikings are going into this game as the underdog again. Like, what? So I was like, they have to be playing at Lambeau Field this game, right?
Yeah, it's at Lambeau. Yep. Okay. I mean, go back and look at who the Packers have played the past, 5 weeks. They haven't played the toughest of competition. So I know people are saying the Vikings going up there to struggle against the Packers defense. The Packers defenses look good against, bottom half of the league. offenses. So I don't think it'll be a problem for Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook to put up some yards. Packers are terrible against the run.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah. I want to see Justin Jefferson kind of toast Alexander. Alexander been talking a lot of shit, bro.
Yeah,
he's starting to get a little bit too big in the britches.
Vikings are right behind the Lions at 31 overall for a defense. So 400 yards of offense. I know Christian Watson is a game time decision for the Packers, but I think Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones and they'll be able to put up some numbers on the Vikings defense. I look for this game to be at least 28, 27, something like that around there. 30 to 27, maybe 28, 24. That's going to get you there.
I was going to say that first game was a pretty high scoring affair too, wasn't it?
I'd have to go back and look. I don't have that offhand, but the weather's 40 degrees in Green Bay and sunny.
Ooh,
so the weather won't be an issue
at all.
not at game time. No. Let's see. The first week of the season, Vikings were at home versus the Packers, but that was week 1, and the Packers sucked. So it was 23-7.
23-7
for the Vikings.
Yeah.
So, But
what's the
pretty good week
spread on that game? Because I saw a stat this week that the Vikings have won 11 of their 11 wins are 1-score games. So that could be something to watch for if the spread's more than, I don't know, 3.5.
It is. It's 3.5. Vikings plus 3.5.
Man, all y'all need betting numbers, man. I'll be sitting here be like, yeah, I'm gonna take this bet because it seems right. Yeah, I can see David Montgomery getting over 40 rush yards in the game, and then motherfucker gets 39, and I'm like, bro, what?
That'd be me.
Right, I can see the Bears scoring over 40. The Bears versus so and so be over 40 points. Yeah, I'm gonna take this bet. We didn't score.
I would take Justin Fields rushing props today, but I mean they're high now. It's like 71.5 rushing yards, and not like he can't get that, but I mean I'm not. That's a lot of rushing yards.
Yeah.
So I mean, to me, I think if it were to come down, if it were 60s, I think I'd jump on it, but 70s, and he may hit it. No doubt. I think he had 100 something versus him last time.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say he probably had close to about 120 in that game, didn't he? Because he had the 2 giant runs.
Yep.
Oh man, it sucks because the last game, Fields is eyeing that record, so at least keeping his tabs on it. And then that last game, just to be boxed the way he was, they played so disciplined against him. It was just let him hand the ball off. If he doesn't hand the ball off, we're hitting him. And it doesn't matter even if he does hand it off, we're still hitting him. We don't want him to run the ball at all. This is like, oh, bro, you didn't make any rushing yards in this game. I could have used at least 50. You could have made that shit more manageable for the last 2 games, dog.
All right, let's see what we got here. Wanted to ask you guys.
I think he had 11 yards against the Bills. That definitely hurt.
Yeah, bro. Oh, don't bring the yardage up no more.
The coaching staff, the players are all on board to win out the rest of the way. We all know that players. Players want to win every time they step foot on the field, but I'm not so sure that management coaching wants to win. Ryan Poles would love to have that number 1 overall pick because, as I said, the Bears could control the entire draft with that number 1 overall pick. We could replace the second round pick, which probably would be number 33 or number 34 overall that we sent to Pittsburgh for Chase Claypool, which to me, that was for me, it was too high of a price. I know the argument was that, he's going to go to Green Bay. I let him go to Green Bay. This draft is stacked with wide receivers coming out.
Yeah, see, and that was something we had talked about before you came on. Was it kind of a reach at that point? And I said, Poles was kind of damned if he did, damned if he did. You know what I'm saying? Because it's either you go get this guy and then you take your chances in the offseason, or you say, you know what? No, we'll let the Packers take him, and then the Packers have the next Devontae Adams and Claypool and have a fucking amazing wide receiver in Watson. Then it's just like, oh yeah, then the fans are gonna jump on his back about that. So yeah, it sucks. And like I said, I'm gonna let the offseason play out before we talk shit about it. But that number one pick kind of can cover that shit up. That number one pick,
exactly. Number one pick, you get one of those high second round. You get a high second round pick back when you trade out of that. One, a first round, a high second pick, maybe a third or fourth.
Yep.
Or a sixth thrown in there as well. You get can load up in this draft. With that controlling the draft like that. Yeah, you may be able to trade down twice. In the first round,
he could. You trade back, you get what? Who's picking third? I think right now is it the Seahawks they have picking third?
Denver's up there too. The Rams are up there.
Let's say one of these teams pop up like, hey, yeah, we'll trade you. You move back to third, and then somebody else calls.
Are the Rams really going to go with Baker Mayfield next year? Stafford. Stafford needs like a walking cane next year.
I don't. They don't have a choice, do they? They try to trade for a Carr or somebody. Because that first round pick is to the fucking Lions, isn't it?
I think so.
I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they can't even. Yeah. They can't even trade up to get a quarterback. They don't have a chance. But yeah. No,
it's all bad.
Sean McVay is a great
Lions
coach.
Have their first round pick from the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, do they? Yeah, for Stafford.
Yep.
Yeah, Lions better pick some defense.
End up sticking with.
I guarantee you, if they had the two picks back to back, I guarantee you they would have took Will Anderson and Jalen Carter. This bum Don Burn here talking about some they trash. What? Shut up.
Yeah, I mean, a Georgia defense gave up 41 points yesterday. So, I didn't focus on Jalen Carter that much during the game, but I think he's a good player. I just think he's one of those players that sometimes has some plays off here and there. AC,
oh yeah,
But yeah, Sean McVay, a really good coach, man. Could do some things with Baker Mayfield next year, I guess. As Stafford and Mayfield.
It's funny watching them kind of get their little resurgence behind Baker Mayfield. It's like, oh, it's funny. He's kind of willing this team to play. That's weird. This is Baker Mayfield. This was everybody's heartthrob in the beginning when he came out, and the Cleveland Browns were going to be the team to beat for years and years, and then they just fell off a cliff.
But it did get him to the playoffs for the first time in eons, and this you got to give credit to him for doing that. I think he's had a bit of an hard, a bit of a bum sort of deal with it, really. I mean, I think Cleveland really treated him like shit. To say that he actually got them success where the franchises had nothing for years. I remember sort of, obviously they made it quite public about Deshaun Watson that they wanted him, and if I think he's an all right player, man. I think he gets a lot of. I think he holds the ball a little bit too much, and some of his reads are a bit questionable. But I think he's definitely above an average quarterback in the league. I just think he gets a bit of a hard rap. I mean, I just remember sort of. About his story about, he was a walk-on, he won at university, so he's had to sort of fight for everything he's got in football. So, I like characters like that who've not just been given it because they were the highest rated, high school quarterback in the nation. Somebody who's actually had to graft and earn everything he's got. So, I mean, I've always thought he's an all right player. I mean, he's like, he does make some bad mistakes, but that's a part of the game, isn't it? I mean, all quarterbacks do, but even quarterbacks like Joe Montana and the greats always making mistakes. So I hope it works out for him. I've never really had any issues with Baker Mayfield at all.
Right, like I said, Sean McVay could do some things with Baker Mayfield next year when he's in the system fully. Yeah. I mean, that's a coach that can scheme players where they're supposed to be, get players open. A great offensive mind.
AC, man, are you good? What we got going on, brother?
I think I might be all right. I hopped out, and hopped back in.
He responded right away.
StreamYard has been really fussy.
Yeah,
StreamYard issues because man, Chrome has been quitting when I run StreamYard. Before I got on here, it quit like 10 times in a row. Just like started to boot up, quit, started to boot up, quit, started to boot up. And then it finally figured out it was supposed to be open and run StreamYard. But I don't know whether it's StreamYard or Chrome. I'm updated on all versions.
I was telling these guys when we hopped in, I went to my cable company this week because we all got smart TVs. So I turned in all my cable boxes and upgraded my internet. And I was like, hell yeah.
There you go.
Now I can run more stuff off my internet. But then when I hopped in today, it was just a freaking nightmare. And it kept popping
StreamYard.
up. Where it pops up at the top right. Yeah.
I think StreamYard did an update and there's some kind of bug they still need to fix. But we just got Google Fiber here, man. I was like, less money and 5 times the speed. So I'm waiting for that router to get here for Google Fiber. But
nah, bro, you gonna have that internet that you already just kind of hover over something and you already on the next page, bro. You ain't even got to click on it.
Yep.
It's gonna read your mind.
You know it, my man.
King T's got an interesting point here. It's not Bears related, but where do you guys think Derek Carr ends up next year? They're talking about him being traded, and that's where Devontae Adams, it's where that door opens up for our Bears if they want to make that move. And remember, the Raiders have a top 10 draft pick, so if you can trade, I was telling Chris, if you could trade our pick to their pick and get Devontae Adams, if that's at all possible, man, that'd be a dream scenario for me.
Yeah. Or
teams that come to mind for Derek Carr would be, Buccaneers with Tom Brady's future uncertain.
True.
Maybe the Patriots might have some interest. Bill Belichick. I don't know if they're in love with Mac Jones, the dirtiest player in the NFL, in my opinion.
Yeah, fuck Mac Jones.
But those teams like spring to mind. The Colts have got some issues at quarterback as well.
The first team that comes to my mind is the New York Jets. My father-in-law used to always say that's where everybody goes to retire. They go to the Jets. You saw Favre and Tomlinson. I think Forte went up there. I think Derek Carr in New York could be a good spot because he someone in the chat saying he's overrated. I feel like he's underrated because the guy has like a ton of 4,000 yard seasons. He's a leader on the field. He's a guy that Devontae Adams went to Vegas just to play with. I could see him doing well in New York. Or
he's underrated for whatever reason. It didn't work out this year in Las Vegas. But I tell you, a team that would blow your mind if I said Carr could go there would be the Miami Dolphins with all those receivers and Tua's concussion history. That would be, Carr could light it up with all those guys. But
we spoke on that.
Nomad
too.
Just said it. I missed that, Nomad. But yeah, we're on the same page, my man.
Yeah, I was gonna say we definitely spoke about that at work the other day about whether or not he should consider hanging it up, and I referenced the kid from the 49ers, Borland, the linebacker. The kid had the multiple concussions during the year, and it was right after his rookie year, and it just seemed like the arrow was through the roof for him, and he just stepped away and came out later on saying, "One too many concussions, man. I can't do it." So I mean, I don't know if that goddamn statement Tua release was actually Tua or if it was memed, where he said, "Yeah, I asked the coach if it's okay for my ears to be bleeding," and he's like, "Oh no, kid, you're okay." I don't know if he really said that shit or not. I just remember looking at it. I was like, "Yeah, you probably should sit down, dog."
That comes back from a old movie called Not Another Teen Movie where they're making fun of Varsity Blues, and the offensive lineman is Billy Bob, and he says, "Coach, you think it's hard to bleed from their ears?" And he goes, "Yeah, get on out there, Billy Bob." He puts the fucking helmet on backwards.
Great movie. Great movie, yeah. I'm on the last episode of Fantasy Football Goon right after this show. So just wanted to tell people if you got fantasy football championship week questions.
Hey, speaking of fantasy, I already told these guys of all my leagues, I'm in one championship, and I'm starting Justin Fields because he ran for 147 yards against.
I love the matchup,
Detroit Lions last time, and I've got Kirk Cousins sitting on my bench, so I'm starting Fields over Cousins.
You got to go with Fields. I would go with Fields too, man. Look at it's a chance for Fields to pop for like 40 points.
Right.
You know, against the Lions. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, but the other guys like Justin Jefferson and a bunch of. I'm like,
he's also playing Green Bay, who he could come out and put up a stinker. Who knows? Kirk Cousins, is hot and cold. I know he's been relatively hot this year, and that's good for him. But I mean, the Packers got a reason to play, man. That's something else that's also dangerous. So they're hoping that certain teams lose and they win out these last two games and sneak their way into the playoffs.
Yeah, well, that fantasy show starts in like 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, 10:45. Yep. So about 30,
we should probably get into closing this thing up then, and we'll go around the room. I'll start with Chris, then go to KB, Tooch, and I'll pick up the scraps. Give me your score prediction, bowl prediction, offensive MVP, defensive MVP, and hit your shout outs. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I think the score's going to be 28-21 to Detroit. I just think with all our injuries and the talent we've got on the team, I just don't think we've got enough to get over the line. But I think Fields might have a bit of a big day, like you guys have been stating with his legs. Regarding offensive MVP, everything's down Fields, isn't it, really? We just want to see him don't get hurt, but we want to see him continually improve. So I'd say Fields for the offense, and I'd go defense, I'd go I'd have to say Brisker because he had a bit of a poor game last week, I think. So I'd like to see him improve. I just remember one of the Buffalo's touchdowns last week, and he took such a bad angle to try and make the tackle, and then he just got sidestepped. Yeah. So I'd like to see Brisker have a bit of a comeback game. So, yeah, I think Detroit might just squeeze one out. But, yeah, the shout-out is obviously to you boys. Happy New Year. It's a great way to start the new year is chatting to you boys. It's awesome. And, that goes to everybody involved with the network and all everybody on the chat. Happy New Year, and let's all have a good one. And hopefully this year I'll be in Chicago at some point to see you boys. So, that's my shout-out. So everybody have a Happy New Year. Let's all have a prosperous 2023.
Hell yeah. Go ahead, KB.
All right, let's go with this offensive thing. Of course, the offensive MVP is always going to be Justin Fields. I don't think you can name anybody else, really. I'm going to say my defensive MVP, I go Kyler Gordon. He's been kind of on a tear. I'm like, God damn it. But I'm gonna go with Gordon, man. I think he gets another pick today. The kid's been on a tear, and I'm happy. I was in the camp of saying, sometimes you just have to let rookies play. There's caught a lot of flack online with people saying that he was already a bust, and of course the George Pickens comments always come out, blase blase. The kid has been playing better and better every fucking game. I get it. He gets burnt every once in a while. That's gonna happen. Some of these kids that he's going up against, Waddle and Tyreek Hill and all these other boys, shit happens. Yeah. So I go Kyler Gordon. I'm gonna say my bold prediction is Kyler Gordon gets a pick 6 today. He said he was trying to take it back last game. And then he got that pick. So I want to say he comes in, he gets the pick today. I just can't pick us to win. As much as I want us to win, we are just way too undermanned. I seen St. Omni saying that fucking sucks. I was really looking forward to seeing him play these last few games out because you just have to see something from the guy. He could help solve a lot of issues by playing well. So him not being in, that's kind of a bummer. I'm gonna go 21-24 Detroit. I'll even say this. Well, I said we have the ball on the final drive, and it'll be par for the course. We try to move the ball, and somebody other than the name of Justin Fields fucks it up for us. So, shout outs, man. Shout out to all you boys, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. If we like you, if we don't like you, if you cheer for the Bears, you don't cheer for the Bears, we still appreciate you spending that time to listen to us. Shout out to you boys, man. Shout out to my boy Tooch with his last show, man. You know what I'm saying? He throwing money at y'all. So if you ain't broke, or if you are broke, but you got that $5, Tooch can flip it. He's like the Jay-Z of fantasy football. You give him 5, he's gonna come back with 100. But man, shout out to everybody on the chat, man. Shout out to everybody in the ballroom, man. Love y'all boys. Happy New Year.
That's it. All right,
brother. Happy
nice.
New Year. Go ahead, Tooch.
All right, I'm gonna go with 28-24 Lions. I mean, I think the Bears can keep it close and cover. They're 5.5-point dogs. If I had to lay aside, I'd take the Bears plus the points. But like KB said, we're decimated by injuries, man. We're missing so many guys. It's tough. Now, the Lions, I think this will be a high-scoring game, man, because the Lions don't have a good defense either. The Bears' defense, not good either. This team is going to be a shootout. You know, it might even be higher. It might be. I mean, last time this team with the better defenses, this game was 31-30. If you remember back, Carr Santos had a missed extra point in that game, and then this is the game where Darnell Mooney bobbled the ball on the goal line, right?
No, that was Washington.
That was Washington. Okay, so but we had a chance at the end and couldn't get it done. You know, like most of the times this year, we had a chance to get it done, but the missed extra points, you know, that'll kill you too. So, but yeah, I mean, it might even be a little higher. It might even go 30-28. So, but I think it'll be a lot of points today. I'd be surprised if this total doesn't go over 50.
Yeah.
And then you got to go with Fields. He's going to be making plays with his legs. That's how if the Bears are going to compete, Fields has got to scramble. Not like last week where the Bills, you know, did a pretty good job. Leslie Frazier had a good game plan against Fields last week. I think you all agree. And then defensive player, I'll just take Jaquan Brisker because he's going to be in the middle of everything. So, and then shout outs, Tailgate show for great job all year. We got next week though too, right? One show next week. Got one last game against the Vikings. And I want to wish Chris Watts a nice Sunday roast in Yorkshire puddings tonight. And,
oh yes, sir. I'm up for
that. I'd be up for that too if I was in Yorkshire today.
I'm always up for the good Sunday roast, mate. I'm telling you, it's one of my favourite meals ever. So
we'd be down a pub. We'd be down a pub, my friend.
Yeah. I'd be in the pub. I'd be going to a pub to have one, but I'm absolutely so hungover. I'm surprised I just collapsed through the show.
Thank all the Barflies, man. Comments were great. I was only in here for a little bit, but the comments were freaking awesome today.
Awesome.
And for all the support and KB, AC, you guys, and C-Dub, prosperous 2023.
Absolutely. Now,
awesome.
How am I going to follow that up? My man Tooch is and you took the words right out of my mouth when you talked about how everybody's thinking it's going to be a lower scoring game. I think it's going to be a high scoring game too.
Yeah, I do too.
I think, but I think just like KB said, I think we're that close, but we can't get over the hump. I think score prediction: Lions win this one 38-35. See a lot of scoring on both sides because remember, this is a Lions offense that was blowing teams up early in the season. They kind of fell off for a little bit, and I think they're kind of coming back. Jared Goff showed again last week that he's not good in the cold. It was 8 degrees in Carolina last week. 8.
Oh.
And all of a sudden he can't play. But he doesn't have to worry about that today because they're indoors and at Ford Field in Detroit. Detroit trying to sneak their way into the playoffs. They got a little bit more to play for than we do. Offensive MVP, you got to go with Justin Fields. And I'm gonna go ahead and say it. even though you stole it, KB, I think Kyler Gordon is my defensive MVP. I think he'll be tasked to try his best to play with Amon-Ra St. Brown, who has been an absolute stud and a steal for the Detroit Lions. But I think that he's going to be the one on him. But we got some other pieces in our secondary. Someone said it in the chat with Blackwell and Jalen Jones. They've been holding their own. I don't know if that comes down to coaching or scheme or what it does, but those guys have been playing pretty well. DHC's held his own at free safety, and I love Jaquan Brisker. I already got his jersey, so I love that dude. But yeah, I'm going to go with Kyler Gordon. I think he has a good game today. And gets another pick. So it'd be 3 weeks in a row he gets a pick. That'd be awesome to see for the future. Shout outs everybody in the chat, man. Y'all bring it. Even you, Don Burr. I expected to see you when I woke up bright and early this morning, and you did not disappoint in the chat. Talking a lot of draft prospects, which was great. We're all looking forward to the draft, even other teams. So that's definitely some good insight there. Shout out to my man Chris. Happy New Year, brother, over there in England, holding it down for us. Even though I appreciate all y'all. Definitely my man KB. I love you, brother. You're my guy. Happy New Year to you. And my man Tooch coming in the clutch, trying to win us some money at the end of the show there. Happy New Year to you as well. And I appreciate all y'all holding down the fort for me today while I got my internet figured out. Apparently, all I had to do was hop out and hop back in, and everything was good. So,
hey, man.
Turn it off. Turn it back on.
Unplug it and plug it back in. Everything's working out. We're stay tuned here on the Barroom Network. You're gonna have Tooch and Tooch. Are you on the show this week?
Yeah,
with the fantasy show?
Joe Mandel and Adam Sham and I will be doing fantasy football, answering questions and talking championship.
Yeah, so you guys can, if you're lucky enough to be in the championship,
starts in 2 minutes.
Don't have Cooper Kupp, that'll be on there. Come back at halftime, and Aldo will tell you about the first half. Come back after the game, and Aldo will tell you about the end of the game. And definitely a big shout out to Aldo. I had a conference with him this week, and we went over a lot of stuff. This is going to become AC's baby. We're working on a new intro for next year, and we're working on – I'm learning how to do things and trying to step up my game a little bit here at the bar room. So definitely a big shout-out to Aldo, and a happy belated anniversary to him. He missed the Dan and Aldo Bear Their Souls show because, you got to spend happy wife, happy life. You got to spend time with the wifey.
Oh, man. No truer words ever spoken.
But I think that'll be it for us this week, man. And we'll just leave everybody, if I can find the outro here, we'll just leave everybody with a big old bear down.
Bear down.
Oh my God.